Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Clutch Points. And today on the show, we're going to talk about that loss. The Lakers lost yet another torturing game, frankly. I don't really have words for how shitty that trip to Minnesota was for the Lakers. I completely forgot to change the the rundown on the right because I was trying to get going here relatively quickly. So I'll change that on the fly. But yeah, this one, first and foremost, we'll talk about JJ Redick not making any substitutions in the second half of this game. We'll talk about Anthony Edwards being the best player in the series and how that has changed the math. We'll talk about Julius Randle thoroughly outplaying Austin Reeves in this series and how that has changed the math here. And after you do all said math and you throw in some shitty, I think, officiating in this game, and you have the Minnesota Timberwolves heading to LA with an opportunity to beat the Lakers in 5. After my prediction coming into the series was the Lakers winning it in 5. Now, if the Lakers want to win this thing, they have to win 3 straight games against a Wolves team that I don't think fears them even a little bit. Yeah, like I said, we got to talk about JJ, and it's never happened before. In the modern era, we have never seen a coach not make any substitutions in the second half of a game. Maybe, I don't know if I retweeted it. So let's see if it's up there still. But let's see, where is it? Kirthika. Oh man, I'm gonna completely tank this name. Kirthika Uthayakumar. I hope I didn't say that too badly, Kirthika. She's an incredible statistician. But according to her, JJ Redick just became the first coach in the play-by-play era to play 5 players for an entire half in the playoffs. James, Doncic, Reeves, Hachimura, Finney, Smith played the entire second half today. I would wager that there haven't been too many teams ever that have ever done that in any modern era game. But it doesn't matter if it's never happened before. It's now happened and it didn't work out. So I'm honestly dumbfounded. I'm completely sober, and I think that was a complete mistake on my part to watch that game without anything to help me chemically. But yeah, well, let me gather my thoughts here. I've been making the rundown here off to the side too. So once that's downloaded and stuff, we'll get going. But yeah, this one's on JJ. So here, there's a few reasons I blame JJ for this one. One, again, not making any subs in the second half. That is that is a rookie mistake on the level we have never seen before. And I guess if we're calling apples here, JJ is a rookie in that situation as we have never seen before. We have never seen, this is completely uncharted territory for the Lakers, where they have a person who has never been a coach before in that spot. And they have been slow to adjustments. They have been inconsistent with discipline on offense. They've been incredibly consistent in terms of their discipline defensively, in that they have not shown any discipline. They are making mental mistakes. You have on the biggest possession of the season, you have LeBron James inbounding the ball. Luka should just cross half court and get the ball there. LeBron throws him the pass. It gets knocked away. It's a turnover there. You're playing from down there. And it's just, and JJ, he challenges a call in the first quarter that, like, yeah, it was a bad call. I thought the referees again were bad in this one. Um, and I mean particularly bad. I thought this was the first time that I felt like the refereeing was one-sided. I have thought that they have been bad and inconsistent both ways, but I thought today this was the first time that I watched a game frustrated with the refereeing on one side of it. But um, like Luka, just come onto the other side of half court. You're allowed to. And they make that rookie mistake and they turn the ball over there. Ant makes a couple of free throws and the game is over. But I also think that we got to talk about how you arrive at a place here where you have so little trust in a bench. And again, that's on you because you just watched in the first half when Austin went down with foul trouble. Jordan Goodwin stepped in, gave good enough minutes, especially defensively, to keep the Lakers afloat. So you could spare a few Austin minutes in the second half. Austin came up short on a couple of jumpers there, and I'm sure his legs were absolutely exhausted. You have I still would have I'm begging for this since before the series. They did start Dorian in the second half, and I'm thinking, okay, cool. So you'll offset it so that Jackson Hayes will have a little bit more room down low and he can be that lob threat against the second unit. No, we don't see Jackson at all in the second half. I didn't even think, like, he had the technical foul, which I thought was a weak tech, and then we never saw him again. It just, and then on top of it, we just got to say it on occasion here, but I think Luka ball is sinking the Lakers. The incessant need to just, all right, here you go, Luka, take 17 seconds of a shot clock and then either make something happen in the final 4 seconds or however many seconds in a shot clock, or pass a grenade off to a teammate and hope they make it work. That isn't working. They are when they have run sets, when they have moved the ball, they have clearly been, I think, the better team. And then every time that they show, like, I really liked in game one, the Lakers started showing a lack of discipline there, started walking around. JJ calls a quick timeout, rips everybody a new one, and tells them we got to play with more energy. Well, you can do the same thing, and you can tell Luka, we got to move the ball. You were just throwing up 36 hours ago. And that's another reason that not playing any subs was stupid here. You have a 40-year-old LeBron James who somehow still looked the freshest of everybody. You had Luka Doncic, who just had the stomach flu a few days ago. He literally couldn't break a sweat in the previous game. He couldn't get his energy up to a point where he would break a sweat in the previous game. He was clearly exhausted. He couldn't turn a corner on my grandma. I lost both my grandmas. You have LeBron missing layups. You have Luka missing layups. You have Luka missing wide open 7-foot jumpers because they're all exhausted. And at no point are you like, man, I'm supposed to do something here, right? I know I have a job. It's one of the most important aspects of my job. Shoot, I know I forgot to do something. How does that happen? How does an assistant coach not step to JJ and be like, hey man, we probably need to sneak a couple minutes here. You enter the fourth up by 10 points. Sneak a couple minutes there with at least Luka out of the game, seeing as, again, he was just vomiting up everything 36 hours ago. How do you not at any point there say, like, yeah, JJ, come over here. You realize they've played all of these minutes. And by the way, Aaron tweeted this out, and I thought it was a great point. Had Austin made that final jumper from the corner that would have tied it up, you go to overtime, would you have played them 5 more straight minutes? There's a reason I hate Tom Thibodeau. Like, there's a reason I don't think Tom Thibodeau teams ever win in the playoffs. It's because of this bullshit. Between not being able to rein in Luka with Luka ball, between this situation here where you don't make any substitutions, between the Lakers' lack of discipline defensively, and that being a consistent theme throughout this series. Like, yes, JJ is going to be better here moving forward. But I don't know if there are very many instances of a coach having this bad of a series, being pantsed so thoroughly by the opposing coach. And remember, I said Chris Finch is an excellent coach. I called him an offensive genius ahead of the series. And the chat got real angry at me for saying that. But I don't know that there are very many examples of a head coach going from where JJ is right now in this series to good NBA coach. Like this was an example of him completely losing his mind. Absolutely and thoroughly losing his mind. And I don't know that you ever move on from, I don't know if I'll ever be able to forget this. You know, maybe he winds up being Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich or Phil Popovich. I don't know. But I don't know if I've ever seen a coach be this bad in a series and then watch that coach go on and figure it out later down the line. It's like those guys who either can or cannot shoot in the playoffs, right? Joe Kelly. I've never seen a good shooter be so bad in the postseason and then figure it out later in his career. Joe Kelly, or not Joe Kelly. Joe Knight. I don't know. The white guy from Brooklyn. But I just don't know that there are very many examples of it. And it's just, that was maddening because you knew over the course of the game, you knew how that was going to turn out. You're watching it. You're like, if this is a close game, they're going to have the fresh legs. Naz Reid subs into the game. And that was it, right? Like Naz Reid subs into the game. I think the Lakers were up like 7 or 8 when Naz subbed into the game. There's some fresh legs there, and it helps Minnesota because Rudy Gobert exits the court. And yeah, that was it. The Wolves had 2 extra players there. Mike Conley, I thought, was good in this game. You have I'm looking at these numbers. I'm in awe. Jackson Hayes played 4 minutes in this game. Was a +1 in those 4 minutes. He played 4 minutes in this game. And I'm not even the biggest Jackson Hayes guy. I'm not even positive he should be allowed to play basketball off of what TMZ found him doing on that tape. And yet it's still like, he's still on your roster. You still got to find a way to take advantage of the size there or try to balance out the size. This is unbelievable. And I don't know how JJ now looks at those guys like, hey guys, think you can help me out next game? I don't know how those guys feel like JJ has any confidence in them. It is unreal. Just absolutely unbelievable what we saw from JJ there. And it cost the Lakers this game, might cost the Lakers this series, and therefore would cost the Lakers a season in which I thought they had a real chance at doing some stuff and winning a championship this year. We have to, if you're looking on the positive side of things, we have to just marvel at what LeBron did in this game. He played 46 minutes. He played 46 minutes, went 5 of 9 from the field, 15 of 18 from the free throw line, scored 27 total points, 12 boards, 8 assists, was the Lakers' best player today. The whole reason to get Luka is so that he can be your best player. And LeBron was clearly the best player today. Luka wasn't terrible, obviously, 38 points, but he only had 2 assists, only had 1 rebound in this one. I thought, again, every possession that Luka was the engine of just kind of stalled out the offense. I don't know, man. I've been pretty unimpressed, underwhelmed by the Luka Doncic experience this series. Now, one of it is a game where he was sick, so you have to take that into account. But he's clearly gassed out by the end of all of these games, and you see him walking off the court in front of LeBron, and you see his love handles as he's walking in front of LeBron, and it's like, yeah, man, I think if you lost those, you might be a pretty good basketball. Like you'd be pretty damn good as a basketball player. And it's just like, Ant has thoroughly outplayed him. I said that. I tweeted that on. I sent that message on Twitter today, saying that Ant has been better than Luka this series, and people are like, "No, no way!" It's like, stop standing and watch basketball. Ant has been incredible defensively, and he was better than your guy offensively today. You're allowed to. You can stand if you want, but you also have to like. It's the same stuff that we have going on culturally, where if we can't acknowledge facts, then we can't talk about stuff. And if you're sitting here telling me that like Ant has not been better than Luka this series, then we just can't talk about stuff. But Ant being better than Luka completely changes the dynamic of these two teams, because the math coming into it was the Lakers were supposed to have Luka as the best player in the series, then Ant, then LeBron, and then it was supposed to be Austin. But what it's been is Ant, Luka, LeBron. I don't know who's been better. I think LeBron's probably been better than Luka in this series. So it's been Ant, and then LeBron, and then Luka, and then Randall, and then McDaniels, and then Reed, and then I think you could say Dante DiVincenzo. You could say yeah, I would say I would say Reeves is after McDaniels. But if you have a shallow team and your stars are getting outplayed by the other team's guys, then that's kind of it. That was the Lakers' chances here, because they don't have the role players to deal with the role players that Minnesota has at their disposal. They don't have a role player on their team as good as Julius Randle has been. They don't have a role player on their team who's been as good as Naz Reid has been. And now they can't even play certain role players, apparently. JJ Redick has lost all the faith in their role players. But what it really comes down to is, like, we thought Ant was going to be out for the rest of the series because of that play where LeBron dove for the loose ball. He went from that to still looking fresher than Luka down the stretch of the game. Luka was dragging ass the whole fourth quarter. He couldn't do anything, couldn't rotate on defense, couldn't turn the corner. Now, I think the refereeing is bad in this one. He should have been at the line on one of those possessions where he got knocked down and the Lakers had to take a timeout. And that wound up being critical, right? Because the Lakers didn't have an extra timeout down the stretch. And then there was also the situation where the Lakers called a timeout and the Wolves were awarded the timeout. The Lakers still lost their timeout. And again, I think that's an execution thing on the Lakers' part. Again, falls on JJ and his staff. But yeah, the Luka thing, he needs to be better. And he needs to be better later. Where last year when they went to the Western Conference Finals, he was clearly the best player on that court, clearly. And this series, Ant has taken a step forward. And again, you can identify the flu that he had. I don't know if he ever got into the best shape over the course of the season because of the calf injury earlier in the year. We can pull from any amount of context here to explain why that's the case. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It is the case, and the Lakers are not equipped for that to be the case. So if they're going to come back in the series, Luka is actually going to have to be as good as we know he is. Like, this is the thing. People, take me criticizing Luka in this spot, and I'm sure there are going to be clips grabbed from this show because of the way that I'm talking about him. This isn't me saying I hate Luka. This isn't me saying I don't think Luka is good or that Nico is right or anything like that. My point is he needs to be better. He hasn't been better than that in the series, and he needs to be better if the Lakers want a chance in this thing. So, and he's capable of it. That's the maddening thing. The Lakers in that third period, What was the final in that third? The Lakers outscored, Minnesota 36-23 in the third period. And it was a whole bunch of pick and rolls from the left side of the court that allowed Luka to make either the pocket pass or the over the top pass to Rui on the short roll, and then Rui making the right decisions out of the short roll. That was what the Lakers were absolutely murdering the Wolves with, and like it was so clearly, you saw it on the faces of Minnesota Timberwolves fans, where they're like, "Oh God, they figured this out." And then fourth quarter rolls around, and it's Luka ball, and it's Luka ball, and it's Luka ball, and it's Luka ball, and it's Puka ball. You can't watch it. I can't watch it. That era of heliocentric basketball is over. Over. And the reason the Minnesota Timberwolves are as dangerous as they are is because Ant is willing to give the ball up early. And he actually turns the corner. Luka's sitting there posting up from 75 feet away from the basket. Meanwhile, all the rest of the Lakers are sitting there waiting for him to cross half court. And the Lakers aren't getting into their sets until there's like 15 seconds left on the shot clock. And by that point, you aren't running anything. And I thought Cran just made a great point too, where he said on Twitter, you can run something and then get back to the ISO ball. ISO ball is always going to be there. But the Lakers have just done this thing where and today was particularly maddening because they had success not doing ISO ball, and then they wandered away from it. They just stopped running shit, and it just became your turn, Luka. All right, your turn, Austin, for some reason. All right, your turn, LeBron. What? Watch that game from the Golden State Warriors from a night ago, where because of Jimmy's absence, they were the underman team. They were the less talented team in that game. And they were dogmatic about running stuff. They were dogmatic of valuing every single possession. The Lakers finished today with 10. Let's see. No, they finished with 3, 7, 8, 10. Yeah. 10 turnovers in this game. They also gave up 18 offensive boards. So you lose the possession battle outright. And you can make up for that by running really efficient offense, but the Lakers just didn't do that consistently. They did it at times in that third quarter, but they just, again, wandered away from it. And it was exactly the thing that I talked about, that I reported from whenever Ham was the coach, that they will occasionally run really good stuff, but we don't even necessarily need to scout for it because we know eventually they're just going to wander away from it. And in this case, they wandered away from it and it torched them. They went to that ISO ball a little too much. And that's the other thing. All right, you're going to run ISO ball. If LeBron's just going to be standing off there to the side, let him stand off to this, get him actual rest. If you're just going to be running ISO ball, Austin doesn't need to be out there for that. If you're running just regular ISO ball, Rui doesn't need to be out there for that. Vando doesn't need to be out for that. You can rotate some guys in if you're just running, simple pick and roll stuff to get whatever look that Luka wants. But anyway, yeah, Luka needs to be better. And I mean, by better, I mean more trusting. That's the thing that I think is the takeaway from this series is Minnesota trusts its identity, trusts each other, and trusts his teammates, and they play as such, and they know that they've been able to just walk down the Lakers. And in this series, I don't think Luka trusts his teammates. I don't think JJ clearly doesn't trust like half of his roster. So then what? Right? Then what? But yeah, LeBron, 46 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, and the defense that he is playing in this series is just insane. Absolutely insane. And um the Lakers are going to waste it. Just like they've mostly wasted his tenure there. Like it's just LeBron holding off father time only for newly extended Rob Pelinka to go and like help father time. Having Jackson Hayes as the only center on this team is criminal. Especially when over the course of the season, Christian Koloko gave you good minutes. Trey Jameson gave you good minutes. I don't care what kind of relationship you're worried about having with Alex Len's agent from here on out. Not converting one of those two guys, if not maybe both, because Keith hasn't given you anything, but not converting one of those two guys to give you another potential lob threat or a little bit more physicality in this knockdown, drag out fight is way to go, Rob. Well done, bud. We'll talk about Austin next. Austin played 35 minutes tonight, was limited by foul trouble early in the game, didn't score in the first half, came in and played significantly better in the third quarter. And then again, because of the Luka ball, I thought disappeared down the stretch. But yeah, he finishes the game 17 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, a steal, 2 blocks somehow. Finished with 5 fouls. One of those fouls being on Gobert. Mike Breen's call of the play where Austin picked up his 5th foul was, ooh, man, Austin took a shot to the head and the foul is on Austin, whatever the actual quote was. I just thought the refereeing today was just pathetic. I thought it was really bad. But and I know Wolves fans are going to point to LeBron's free throws and stuff, and the final tally, the Lakers shot 25 free throws, the Wolves shot 33. I thought it was really bad officiating. Now, that's not the reason the Lakers lost. I've given you guys reasons why the Lakers have lost, but that was just really poor stuff. There was the kick ball that happened right in front of a referee that didn't get called. There like this is the thing when you use your challenge, and I've talked about this in the past, but when you use your challenge early and you lose it, now these referees who have been refereeing and leaning on reviews to overturn calls, those guys are now in kind of uncharted territory, and you're putting your game plan in the hands of the least qualified people on the court. And you know, you look at the even the one that the one call that the Lakers did challenge, which the referee says Rudy came to a pause. Even Mike Breen, who was very referee friendly, Mike Breen was like, where was the pause? And it just, you walk away from it like, what's the point of review? And you know, they find some angle from the moon that shows LeBron hitting Ant's wrist and fingers on that last call. Well, okay, but that's happening every play. Luka, for the first half, every time he shot a layup, he was getting bumped all the way to the basket. And but anyway, the Austin thing is tough because he's going to be extension eligible this summer. I would imagine he and his team and the Lakers are prepared to go into negotiations this summer. And I would imagine that the inclination before the series was, you can't offer us enough in terms of an extension for us to take it. The most that the Lakers can offer is like a 4-year, $90 million extension for Austin. And I think I would still offer that probably. I would still, fairly comfortably offer that for Austin. But we were talking about him making potentially 32 plus million a year. And this has been a pretty bad series for him. He's been made uncomfortable. And at times taken advantage of because of the physicality and the athleticism that the Timberwolves have. And again, I think part of this is game plan. I think all of the Luka heavy offense, like if this is just going to be the team's identity, I don't know if Austin fits into that identity, because Austin's creativity what gets wasted when every possession in these playoff games is Luka posting up uh Jaden McDaniels from 75 feet out, getting to a pick and roll and going from there, while Austin just kind of stands off in the corner. Where's the creative? Why isn't Austin setting screens? Like actual screens. Every time Austin comes up to set a screen, they're doing that kind of ghost screen that allows them to free up on the other side there when Minnesota switches it. And I get going to some of that, but it's just this offense has been so rudimentary. It's the most boring offense. This is like Kobe offense. And like back then it was fine to run Kobe offense because that's what everybody was running. And the Lakers had success there because Kobe was better at the Kobe offense than everybody else. But when you run the Luka offense and the other team runs a modern offense, the other team's going to get better looks. But anyway, yeah, Austin, again, the final numbers there look fine-ish. He had that incredible third quarter. He missed two, obviously the biggest shot maybe of the season, being relatively open there from the corner. Spacing on that play was out of whack, where you had the ball on the right side, the screen being set to the right, and LeBron and Austin were on the right side of the court. I thought they would be better prepared for that. And that's where not having that timeout because of the review situation from a few seconds earlier really hurt you. But yeah, I'm getting kind of nervous, or really nervous. Like the Lakers shot 47 threes in this one, knocked down 40% of them. You win those games. You're supposed to win those games. But when you give up 18 offensive rebounds, and Austin's lack of size plays a role there, and you give up you lose the turnover battle as well. It's a slim margin there, but Minnesota, I think, has more margin for error, and you wind up, that's how you walk away losing by 3 in a game where you knock down almost 23s at a 40% clip, 40+% clip. Like that's just, it hurts. It hurts. This one hurts. We have a ton of super chats, so we'll go ahead and play this bad boy. Yeah, again, like, so this is the stupid thing that stans do that, God, I wish. Here's the thing. Twitter should allow people to identify as Luka stan beyond the avatar that you put, or PFP, which is a new term. But if you're a Luka fan, it should just say like at so-and-so, 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 Luka fan. And I should just be able to know, like, oh, okay, all right, I see where this is coming from. Because Luka fans right now are torching me because I said that, again, which is true, Anthony Edwards has outplayed Luka in the series. And people are coming at me saying, well, LeBron didn't score in the fourth. Why do you think that was, buddy? It was Luka ball. I'm going to pull up the I would love to, because it's not the most detailed play-by-play here. But in the fourth period, yeah, it doesn't show. It just shows the final. But we can chart. Maybe we'll go back and we'll chart what the possessions were for the Lakers. And maybe I'm wrong. It might just feel a certain way because of the emotions of the moment. But felt like the Lakers ran really good offense in the third quarter and then backslid to Luka ball. And you add to that the fatigue. And you add to that Minnesota's momentum, where they kind of know where it's heading to. And that's the game. That's how it turned out. But anyway, let's go to the super comments here. Actually, I'm going to scroll back up just because for some reason it doesn't pick up early ones sometimes. All right. All right, good. All right. So JK Productions writes, Westbrook trade still haunts us. Just because the Mavs were stupid doesn't mean they aren't right about Luka. Big summer. I get not trading for Williams, but why was it either that trade or nothing? Well, here's the thing. Again, Jeannie Buss has basically all but said that they were running out the string on the LeBron 80 era. It was like, we didn't really see anything that was going to make us title contenders, and we didn't want to use assets and resources to try to extend that window or whatever. And even if she didn't say that outright, that was their actions, right? And the problem with that is, like, if you basically kind of go into every transaction window and you're like, yeah, we'll just kind of keep our powder dry and we'll see how it goes without always looking to improve, that's how you wind up with a center rotation at the beginning of the year of Christian Wood, who never played at any basketball this year. Jackson Hayes, who can apparently only play 4 minutes in this playoff game. And then a rotation of two-way players in Christian Coloco and Trey Jemison, and then you bring in Alex Len, and like when you basically wave the white flag at the onset of a season, you are then kind of ill prepared for if something like Luka falls in your lap. And yeah, like if you look at this and you say, yeah, Luka is he needs vertical threats, and you go out and you get one. Okay, all right, but if you were capable of getting one as quickly as you were once you got Luka, then you were always capable of getting one, right? Like if the Lakers, they traded for Luka, he shows up and he's like, yeah, I kind of need a lob threat. And they're like, oh, cool, you got it. And Rob even said that, yeah, Luka made it known that he's best with a lob threat. They acted quickly. They went and got Mark Williams, who I'm not positive they ever saw play. And then they if that's what you're capable of, as soon as Luka shows up, because you have to be on your best behavior because Luka is extension eligible and you can't lose him for nothing after all of this. But if you were able to go out and get a center that quickly before, then why didn't you just go out and get a better center before you got Luka? And the assets that they used to get Mark Williams never would have been in play for Luka. Couple second rounders and Dalton Connect, who hasn't played also in this series. Like you could have at any point in the season, you could have done something before you got Luka and strengthened your roster. If clearly you were capable and interested in moving Dalton, then you should have done that earlier and gone out and gotten a center. You know, like, and again, like this is where these conversations are so nuanced, right? Because I'm the guy who says I think Rob should be executive of the year for going out and getting Luka. But the reason why I'm a little uncomfortable with him immediately getting an extension for doing that is because this is the same guy who I watched waste LeBron and Anthony Davis. So we're all stuck here, guys. Make yourself comfortable. This is the laugh that you see right now. It's quickly going to turn into this. This is why I look like this, everybody. This is why I'm losing my mind. The next comment here, also from JK Productions, watching Luka dribble for 20 seconds against McDaniels. Yeah, that's tough, man. It's brutal. And it's McDaniels, and it's Edwards, and it's Julius. It's like he wants to pick on all these guys who are his size or bigger. Meanwhile, Dante DiVincenzo hasn't had to guard a soul this series. Mike Conley, the times that he's had to guard people, in this game especially, he either fouled or gave up a bucket. He had that one block on LeBron, which should have been a jump ball. But outside of that, like those two guys, just you have the size advantage over those guys, and yet you keep punching up. Like we can't diversify this at all. And again, like this, what I'm never going to be able to get out of my mind is that third quarter, because the offense in that third quarter was so brilliant. It was perfect. There were a couple of ISO possessions and stuff like that. You're going to have that happen sometimes, but it was great. And then they saw that third quarter and they're like, yeah, that was fun. But guess what else we could do? And Minnesota's like, oh, thank God. Whew. All right, cool. Luka ball. And what hurts there is it forces you to play that much harder defensively, and you're already gassed. The Lakers couldn't get a rebound on the stretch of the game because they were so clearly exhausted, which again goes back to JJ not playing anybody else in the second half of the game. Absolutely nuts. All of it. Absolutely insane. Justin Tyndall writes, JJ told us he trusts 5 guys, 5 of 18 shooting in the fourth. Yeah, I have the Lakers shot chart up here in the fourth quarter, and it's it's wild. Like, it's absolutely insane. The Lakers, all right, here's a fun one. They missed 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say 5. There's a foot in the paint on the 5th attempt. The Lakers went 0 for 5 in the paint in the fourth quarter. That's tired legs. The next closest shot there, they made one from like a 12 points. It's listed as a 12.2-point shot from Luka. That was it. They had opportunities at the rim that they missed, and to me, that was tired legs. You had they went 1, 2, 3, 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from 3. That's good enough if you mix into that other attempts and don't go 0-4 from the paint. But that's how the game played out. I think it was clearly a team that was exhausted. And yeah, like here's where it's going to be interesting. And well, I mean, Rob is the comfortable guy now. He has the extension. I would demand a pretty lengthy and feasible explanation from JJ as to why he did that, because that was the game. The Lakers having no legs down the stretch of that game to either get rebounds, to stay in front of guys, to knock down their open shots, to knock down their layups. That was fatigue, and it was so predictable as it was happening. And then what's even worse is you get to these moments where they're clearly exhausted and you can't sub at that point. You can't take one of those 5 guys out of the game with 5 minutes to go. That's the whole point of a fucking rotation. I can't believe we have to have this conversation. The next one's from Justin Tyndall, who writes, that LeBron 3 with a minute to go pissed me off. It was never going in. He never hits dagger threes, and Austin's dumb foul on McDaniels on the next possession. Yeah, I think you probably could have gotten a better shot there. I know which one you're talking about. I don't know. A lot of the Lakers shots at times feel like I haven't touched the ball in a while shots, and they really kind of stick out as tough ones, which, you know, is not great. Wait, were 2 of these were on the line? No. Okay. But yeah, the LeBron 3 kind of comes to mind. LeBron also taking the tech free throw. He had to take the flagrant one, and maybe he just stayed there because he had to take the flagrant one. But I didn't think that made much sense. Austin is one of the better free throw shooters in the league, and also needed to get into a rhythm. I would have preferred Austin maybe shoot that free throw. But yeah, again, he was like relatively open. The ball came to him and he was in decent rhythm. I thought good rhythm even. And when he released it, I thought it had a good chance at it. But again, it's just in that fourth period, the Lakers offense completely stalled out. And when that happens, you have guys, especially somebody like LeBron, who is used to taking those big shots. And he's like, all right, fine. This is kind of my moment. And he took that shot and he missed it. JK Productions again. This team not outperforming the AD Bronze team right now. That means Rob doesn't want to invest in them. That's how it goes, right? They might have to trade AR. Man, that's a tough one. trading AR. Especially ahead of his new contract. You might be trading him at his highest value if you do make that decision, and it might make sense to go out and get somebody who is better defensively if you're taking the ball out of Austin's hands anyways, or maybe you just turn him into a six man. I don't know, but yeah, I was kind of nervous coming into the like. You guys can rewind the tape. I talked to Pete about this when we did our last pod, and I asked him, how nervous are you about the fact that the Lakers haven't done anything with LeBron and Luka together? We still haven't seen anything like that. You'll see the occasional gray screen or anything like that, but it's just like nothing between those two guys. And when the Lakers were at their best, those two guys are making each other's lives easier. And like, fine, if you're the Lakers and Minnesota is just going to switch the LeBron Luka pick and roll, invert the pick and roll, and get LeBron going downhill against a guy who just had to step out and guard there. If you're Luka and you know that the switch is coming, try to weave dribble there and turn a corner. The problem that the Lakers kept having was that they were setting these screens for Luka, and Luka was never turning a corner. And the one possession that he did, he missed the layup. It was again, Luka's incredible. He's a really good player. Yada yada yada. Stands. Go listen to another show if you want. But the Luka ball thing, it's not cutting it for me. It's not how I've ever liked watching. Even when the Lakers had Kobe, that was one of the reasons that I'm not all that popular with some people. Was like, you have Powell. He's a pretty good offensive option. It doesn't need to be 15 straight Kobe possessions. We can mix it up a little bit. I remember Peter Vesey literally blocked me for saying just that. But yeah, I've always seen the basketball a certain way, and maybe I'm too strict with it. But I think that the most diverse offenses, especially when you have personnel like LeBron and Austin, you're making yourself less dangerous by turning LeBron into a spot up shooter, by turning Austin into a spot up shooter, like by never utilizing those guys. And like, look, Rui played great, especially in that third quarter. That was after everything that I said about him last game. I got to tip my cap that I'm not wearing, and say Rui played excellent in that third quarter, making the right reads, making the right decisions, being aggressive. It was a great Rui quarter. But if you're Minnesota, you kind of live with the Rui quarter, because that means Austin and LeBron aren't the ones that are creating stuff for them. So yeah, and that's not to say that you completely ignore Rui, but you sprinkle in some Rui, you sprinkle in some Austin, you sprinkle in some LeBron, especially when Luka's literally falling over because he can't get the ball across half court against Jaden McDaniels. You have LeBron. I can guarantee you Julius Randle can't play the same pressure defense on LeBron James 95 feet away from the basket without fouling. Let LeBron initiate the offense. Let Luka start somewhere else and get the ball a little closer to the hoop so that your pick and rolls aren't so high up. They were setting pick and rolls on the logo. That's not going to do anything for you. And they're setting lateral pick and rolls on the logo, not even vertical pick and rolls at the logo. It's all this lateral nonsense. Again, that is just so that LeBron or Luka could pick on Naz Reid, so that he can pick on Rudy Gobert. And it's just not enough. It's not diverse enough. It's not creative enough. And yeah, I'm really nervous about JJ's coaching, because and maybe this is the series that he uses to go to Luka and be like, look, I think we were the better team, and that style of offense made us worse. And if he's able to have that kind of a conversation with Luka, and if Luka doesn't use that as a reason to leave and play somewhere where that will allow him to play that way, then the Lakers are better off. But yeah, Luka ball is just not it for me. It might be it for some people, but it's not it for me. Remborn, you tweeted Ant outplayed Luka across the first 3 games. This was prior to game 4. Do you believe Ant outplayed him 1 through 3? 99% of people seem to disagree. 99% of people apparently are idiots. Like, I think you have your stats wrong there. I don't think 99% of the people who have seen that tweet disagree. But all right, you want to say Luka outplayed Ant in the first one? Cool. Agreed. I would say that Ant outplayed Luka in game 2 if you count defense. And this is the thing. Everybody's enamored with Luka's counting stats, but the defense matters here, guys. But anyway, you want to give Luka games 1 and 2? Okay. But game 3 was such a disaster. There has not been a gap anywhere else there. So in net, I would say like it's close games 1 and 2. Ant blows Luka out of the water in game 3. And then again today, I thought Ant blew Luka out of the water. I think Ant was clearly the best player on the court. He knocked down huge threes. He was turning the corner. He was making the right pass. He was getting into the paint. Those are all things. And by the way, playing great defense. At one point, they were nervous that he was playing too physically on LeBron. Have we seen Luka play too physically with anybody ever in his life on defense? I don't think we have. So yeah, Remborn, if you want to try to dunk, you can dunk away, but like, no. I'm going to end it here and then enjoy the rest of my Sunday night with my family and then record the lowdown a little bit later tonight. So thank you everybody for tuning in. A quick reminder, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that rate button. Please hit that review button if you guys are listening on Twitter in the morning or on in podcast form in the morning. And yeah, we have 48 hours to sit on this loss. And then the Lakers have an actual elimination game at home. And we'll see how they approach it. You know, if they're I don't love that I don't know how disciplined they're going to be in an elimination game. And I think that says a lot about this group. Now, look, they came together mid-season. And these things, when a team comes together and shifts their identity as much as the Lakers have this year, that often is kind of a death knell in and of itself. But the Lakers have at various points this year looked really bleeping good. And there are aspects of basketball. There are facets of basketball that the Lakers play differently and continue to play differently when they're playing really good and when they're playing really well. And when they're not playing very well, there are some things that are pretty consistently standing out. One of them, in my opinion, is the Luka ball thing. Another one is the backside of defense, which and oh god, the over switching is killing me. It's again, like the over switching has been a problem all series. No adjustment, we're good. The only adjustment today was playing the same 5 guys for 24 minutes on the back end of the, like, that can't be your adjustment. That can't be it. I refuse to believe that JJ thought that was the right move. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekends, everybody. Make somebody else's, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit.